wanted to ask as well before we move on to the Arsenal stuff. A really big talking point that's come up in the last few days has been abuse, and I wanted to ask you your thoughts on. And I'll tell you where it's come up from. In relation to what's his face, Harry Maguire. So today it's kind of been put out there by a lot of people that Harry Maguire is being the level of criticism he's getting is now bullying. It's abusive. It's wrong. It's nasty. It should stop. Do you agree that regular criticism, is now abuse, or what? Where do you stand on this?
I've seen this a lot, Terry, right? Because I see Gonzalo Higuain posted that he's retiring at the end of the season as well. And again, you don't know what he's been through and this and that. The one thing I will say here, Terry, right, is when you're just a regular Joe like us, and you run a YouTube channel, you are going to check the comments, you are going to read the comments, you are going to interact with the comments. So you are going to see a lot of things that you don't like. And I guarantee you now, you get abused every single day, the same as I do. Yeah. And that don't make it right. But when you're a multi-millionaire footballer in a privileged position, trying to entertain millions of people around the world that support your football club, when you're in the limelight every day, you're playing for one of the biggest clubs on the planet, I'm pretty sure that most of these footballers nowadays, not all of them, because we know Aubameyang uses his own Instagram, but I'm pretty sure that most of these people have got managers to manage their social medias. So if they have got that, how are they seeing anything? And I'm pretty sure, and I'm just saying this from my side, right? If I was in the position of Harry Maguire, right, I wouldn't be that cocky to sit in an interview and say, oh, many centre-backs have come and gone at Man United. There's a reason I'm still here. There's a reason I'm captain of Man United. I wouldn't be sitting there doing that, Terry, because now you're opening yourself up for criticism and abuse, right? What I do find mad is if you call him a clown or you call him a prick, yeah, that's now seen as abuse. Well, is Harry Maguire watching your channel? And if he is, you'd have to question why. Because he needs to get better. So stop watching me, mate. Go and train. But at the end of the day, it's not just Harry Maguire, Terry. Yeah, Higuain's come out. We've had Granit Xhaka come out, and like some of the stuff Granit Xhaka was at, like that was aimed at him and his family was disgusting. Like I've had it with I've posted a picture of my daughter and people are asking what her body count is. At that time, she was 9. Like, bro, it's mad. Yeah, this is why I don't answer any of my requests on DMs on Instagram anymore. It's pretty simple. You go on Instagram, you load it up, and it says your DMs from people that you follow, and then it says requests. If I don't follow them, unless I click request and open them all up, I ain't seeing them. It's pretty simple. You don't have to see it. There's certain words you can block. You can block whatever you want on these platforms, Terry, yeah? I'm sure you've got words blocked in your chat. I've got loads blocked on mine.
Yeah.
So
I blocked everything connected to Game of Thrones when it was on, so I never found out what happened.
I did that with Lizzie the other week.
I actually do it with everything political, because I use Twitter purely for social media. If you're someone who if I follow you on Twitter and you start retweeting lots of political things, whether it's UK based, international based, I just mute your account because I don't want that on my timeline. So of course you can clear these things out. My issue is
let me stop you very quickly. Sorry, there's a comment here from Ricardo in your chat. Yeah, you received that comment because you caused it. What? Because I don't rate the manager of the football club. You can say that about my daughter.
Yeah,
but I don't sit here, Terry. Yeah, that's the first time you've ever found out about that. That happened. Well, she's 13 in November. That was when she was 9, 10. Yeah, so that was previous managers. That was years ago. Yeah, right. But the point is, I don't sit there going, "Oh, well, I'm getting so much abuse of that," because I can take it, Terry. Yeah, I dish out abuse. I sit and cuss these players left, right, and centre. I've cussed the manager. I've cussed previous players, and I've cussed previous managers. Unless they're watching me or I'm tagging them. Yeah, or I'm directing it to their sister, their mother, and I'm tagging them. Yeah, I'm free to say what I want, and same as everybody else within the parameters of the platform and within the law, right? Where I do find it going over the top is when you get like, see, that to me is just water off a duck's back. But when you're saying that you're going to do like nastiness or you're going to do some vile and horrible things, and you're aiming at, like we've seen Ian Wright take a geezer to court for some of the stuff that he was DMing him. But again, Wrighty opened that and see it. Wrighty didn't have to open it. Fair play for taking him to court. But then when he got to court, he let the geezer off. No, once you've got to court, bang, see you later, mate. Yeah, but he can do what he likes. Every individual is different. But for me, this Harry Maguire thing, right? I've seen it with a lot of your players as well. It's a case of, oh, it's over the top now. Well, why is it over the top? Oh, well, it's over the top because it's now bordering on bullying. All right, what? Well, you play for one of the biggest clubs on the planet, mate. They're going to have one of the biggest fan bases on the planet. So if everyone's of the same mindset about Harry Maguire being crap, yeah, then maybe Harry Maguire should get better. Real talk. Yeah, stay off social media. Stop posting your own stats via your agent. Yeah, and stay off social media. Stop sitting in interviews. Say to Man United, I actually don't want to be captain anymore. Yeah, I just want to concentrate on my game. I don't want to do interviews after the game. Maybe it's contractual. Try and get out of it if you can. But don't sit there in interviews and say, well, I'm here and other defenders ain't, and I'm captain of United. And then cry. Like, I know he's not personally crying about the abuse, but I'm sure that he is one of these players that will sit and watch the abuse that he's getting online. He will search his own name, nailed on. You can tell that by the interviews he's done.
So let me. I just want to interject for a minute. I want to get a few. I just want to get a few things out about this argument. I agree with.
Quickly, I am listening.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said there. There's a few things to me on this though, and I've been talking about it for years, and I've been called one of the abusers in the last few days. I'm very capable of handling that criticism because I know I'm not an abuser. I don't abuse Maguire. I criticize Maguire. Equally, at the weekend when somebody edited a picture of him smiling, I didn't even mention it because it really wasn't important. But I just want to talk about a few things here. First thing is this. So someone quote tweeted a tweet of mine by saying, so I said criticism is not bullying, abuse is. The way we are now amalgamating them together to stop the rightful complaints about Maguire is wrong. And I believe that in both directions. So abuse is never criticism. Bullying is never criticism. Being disgusting about somebody is never criticism. It is abusive and nasty. Equally, fair criticism about someone's behavior, someone's playing style, whether you think someone should be in a team or not, is never abusive. And someone might say, but if you've done it 3 Man United games on the bounce, but if you've been rubbish 3 games on the bounce, I'm going to call it out. It doesn't mean you're being abusive. Someone then quote tweeted that and said, so the bomb scares, wishing him a career-ending injury, wishing his partner a miscarriage, wishing him and his partner death, calling him a clown, body shaming, using fake quotes and edited pictures when he wasn't even part of the game to throw more hate his way is all criticism. And I'm like, see, that's the point. No. So through all of that, bomb scares are not criticism. Wishing him a career-ending injury, wishing a miscarriage on his partner, wishing him death. The body shaming part, I don't quite know what they mean, but no, that isn't criticism.
Maybe they're talking about his head, Terry.
Okay, yeah, maybe his head. Like fake quotes, they were talking about what Mark Ogden said. I'll get onto that in a minute. And then editing pictures. The editing pictures, the miscarriages, the deaths, the bomb scares, 110% they're abusive. I'm not saying anyone should be allowed to do that. My tweet said criticism is fair, not abuse. But what people are doing to try and protect Maguire now is they're trying to amalgamate it all together. That way, if any criticism of Maguire is abuse, they're trying to silence people and stopping them from criticizing him because they just don't like the criticism that a player they have backed is getting. And it shouldn't work in either direction. We should all be calling out abuse. Even if and I'll give you an example. When Fellaini signed a new deal at Man United, I said it was wrong. The next day I did a video condemning, and I put all the Twitter accounts up that did it, that got exposed, that was saying disgusting things, cancer, leg breaks, wish your wife would die, and all this sort of stuff. I called them out. I then got into an argument with multiple big Man United channels, and I said, are you guys going to call out this poor behavior? And they basically had a gut me, oh, don't drag us into this. We don't want to get involved. I was like, you're the voice of the Man United fans. Like, you've slagged him off for signing a new deal, but you're not willing to condemn people abusing him. So I've always stood up for any player, whether I like them or not, if they've been abused. Equally, you're never going to silence me from criticizing somebody about what they've done or how they're playing by trying to mask it as abuse. And I went through this with Martial. I got accused of being racist because I said Martial was lazy in an individual game. And what I said in my analysis was, I felt he was really lazy today because he didn't make enough progressive runs off the ball to receive passes. So I wasn't talking about pressing. I wasn't talking about getting back and defending. I was talking about making runs off the shoulder against the high line. I thought it was lazy that he didn't put that effort in. Or lazy is a lazy stereotype about him because he's a young black man. But it's nothing to do with his skin color. It's all to do with what I saw on the pitch. And I gave examples, and I gave, there was something credible behind it. My view was the people that were doing that just didn't want me criticizing Martial, so they tried to shame me. They tried to make me feel pressured not to do it.
Yeah, and they try and cancel your opinion on that player.
Yeah, so it's almost
it's the same as cancel culture, Terry.
Yeah, so
they're not cancelling you off a platform. They're just cancelling you and making you feel scared to out your opinion on a player in case you get abused now.
Exactly.
Which is ironic because the people the people that will call you out, I get it all the time. I had it with Mesut Ozil every week, mate. Like literally every week. I mean, I'm not going to say, but a certain person put a tweet out to a lot of people saying that I'm racist against Turks because I don't rate Ozil. Yeah, and I'm like, talking about
but the irony was that same person got called out for not liking Nigerians because he didn't think Iwobi was good enough. And for me, I've always pushed back. If someone says something that is sexist or racist or homophobic or Islamophobic, I'm going to call it out. But criticizing Anthony Martial, 99.9% of people are just criticizing him because they weren't happy with how he played. But back to the Maguire thing and the abuse, that's what some people are trying to do here. Why
are people offended on behalf of Maguire?
Well, but this is the thing. But so there's two sides to the story, though, Lee. The abuse he's getting absolutely has to be called out. But people are using very interesting language. They're just saying the amount of criticism he's getting is crazy, and then the examples of criticism they give are bomb threats and wishing a miscarriage on his missus. I'm like, but that isn't criticism. That's abuse. So what Jamie Carragher should be saying is the volume of abuse this player is getting is a disgrace, because I agree with that. But when you start using the word criticism, Carragher might not have this motivation, but I think he should be very careful of his words. That isn't criticism. It's never criticism to abuse someone. And there's a comment I wanted to put up on the screen from Twisted here. And this is where I push back and will defend Maguire, where he says, there's too much filter in the world. Maguire deserves everything he gets. Maguire doesn't deserve bomb threats and wishing him in death, and his girlfriend and or wife and sister having rape threats thrown towards them. So that's the point. They don't deserve any of that. There's nothing Maguire's done that warrants that type of behavior. So whether you like Maguire or not, you should defend him against those things. But this is what I see happen, and this is where the problem arises. There are top reds coming for me because they don't like that I'm criticizing him, and they're calling it abuse. When he gets abused and I defend him, Maguire's haters come for me saying, how dare you defend Maguire? And I look at both sets of these people, I look at both these groups and go, you're both the problem here, because you should all be condemning abuse.
There's an easy way to deal with all of this.
You should all be condemning abuse, and you should all be accepting and discuss criticism. If everybody took the right stance here, instead of what I've said is happening for years on social media, we don't criticize the action, we criticize the person doing it. Certain people get away with atrocities and others get absolutely condemned for it. And that's all that's going on here. So
real talk, Terry.
I'll make the final statement. I'll go back to you. Sorry, mate.
On, mate.
I am not going to stop criticizing Maguire when he plays badly, when he makes mistakes, when I feel him and his camp are directly or indirectly leaking information to the media that should be kept behind closed doors. I will always criticize. Equally, I'm going to defend him and every other single football player from outright disgraceful abuse. Why am I going to do that? Because I think I'm a fairly decent human being. And if you're someone that doesn't do that, you need to go and seek help. You're mentally ill if you think abusing footballers is okay, and you've got real problems if me calling someone a clown or not good enough to play for Man United, if you think that is the equivalent of a bomb threat, you equally need to see a doctor. You're not well. Not well. You're not. Simple as that.
Yeah, the ironic thing about it is, Terry, is the people that are sitting there condemning it are the same people that will send you exactly the same kind of crap. Yeah, because of your opinion about the player. But they all love to be like, oh, look at me, I'm a darling on Twitter, I'm a darling on Insta. Oh, I'm such a nice person. Yeah, really? Well, how comes you're calling me? Like, if you go through your helpful review comments, yeah, you know what I'm on about. You go through the helpful review, you have to tick them up. If I went through mine, mate, I probably wouldn't be here if I was sensitive. And I'm not saying that Harry Maguire deserves to have bomb threats, because that's disgusting. That's mad. I remember that story. That was crazy. Yeah, but at the same time, Terry, yeah, I just think that a lot of these footballers, like, let me ask you one question. Do you think Harry Maguire goes home every night and cares about what you say or what millions of other people say? Do you actually think it bothers him? Like, real talk, honestly, do you think he's bothered?
I feel like the criticism, no. I think what does get to these players is, for instance, I'm going to get the story slightly wrong. I didn't read about it before I went live, but I wish I had what Joe Rogan has. Like, Jamie, can you check this for me?
Yeah, don't worry. If you hadn't bought the car, you could have paid for that.
True. But like, I feel like the stuff like I know his sister got some really disgraceful things sent to her. I think that kind of thing can impact someone.
How do you go down the road, Terry? Sorry, mate. Yeah. How do you go down the road of finding out Harry Maguire's sister, then finding out Ats? Yeah. And surely you'd like to think that when it's a high profile footballer or even a low profile footballer, you'd like to think that their family members are gonna have had the conversation with an agent, with a marketing team, with a media team, with the football clubs to say, look, keep all your socials locked. Don't accept any friend requests. Don't open DMs. I know it's not the right thing to do, but we live in an environment where, Terry, if you went through your DMs and I went through my DMs, we'd probably sit. Like, maybe I should do a show.
My brother, mate. Do you know
that level, and you're now, because we're tiny people.
I get that, but the irony,
when you're in that spectrum and you're Harry Maguire's sister, you know that your brother is playing for Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. And I'm not blaming the sister, by the way. I'm not saying that, but the fact that they found out about them messages means that they've had to physically open them. Yeah, the only way you physically open them, if it's from an anonymous account or just from some idiot online, is you have to search for it.